St. Augustine Commentary on the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 1 to 5, following. These men too dare to say that they are wont to suffer persecution from Catholic kings or from Catholic princes. What persecution do they bear? Affliction of body. Yet, if at times they had suffered, and how they suffered, let themselves know, and settle it with their consciences. Still they suffered only affliction of body. The persecution which they cause is more grievous. Beware when Ishmael wishes to play with Isaac, when he fawns on you, when he offers another baptism. Answer him, I have baptism already. For if this baptism is true, he who would give you another would be mocking you. Beware of the persecution of the soul. For thou, the party of Donatus, has at times suffered somewhat at the hands of Catholic princes. It was a bodily suffering, not the suffering of spiritual deception. Hear and see in the very facts of Old Testament history all the signs and indications of things to come. Sarah is found to have afflicted her maid Hagar. Sarah is free. After her maid began to be proud, Sarah complained to Abraham and said, Cast out the bondwoman. She has lifted her neck against me. His wife complains of Abraham as it were his doing. But Abraham who was not bound to the maid by lust, but by the duty of begetting children, inasmuch as Sarah had given her to him to have offspring by her, says to her, Behold, she is your handmaid, do unto her as you will. And Sarah grievously afflicted her, and she fled from her face. See, the free woman afflicted the bondwoman, and the apostle does not call that a persecution. The slave plays with his master, and he calls it persecution. This afflicting is not called persecution. That playing is. How does it appear to you, brethren? Do you not understand what is signified? Thus then, when God wills to stir up powers against heretics, against schismatics, against those that scatter the church, that blow on Christ as if they abhorred him, that blaspheme baptism, let them not wonder, because God stirs them up, that Hagar may be beaten by Sarah. Let Hagar know herself and yield her neck, for when, after being humiliated, she departed from her mistress, an angel met her and said to her, What is the matter with you, Hagar, Sarah's handmaid? When she complained of her mistress, what did she hear from the angel? Return to your mistress. Genesis chapter 16, verse 9. It is for this that she is afflicted, that she may return, and would that she may return for her offspring, just like the sons of Jacob will obtain the inheritance with their brethren. But they wonder that Christian powers are roused against detestable scatterers of the church. Should they not be moved then? How otherwise should they give an account of their rule to God? Observe, beloved, what I say, that it concerns Christian kings of this world to wish their mother, the church, of which they have been spiritually born, to have peace in their times. We read Daniel's visions and prophetical histories. The three children praised the Lord in the fire. King Nebuchadnezzar wondered at the children praising God, and at the fire around them, doing them no harm. And while he wondered, what did King Nebuchadnezzar say, he who was neither a Jew nor circumcised, who had set up his own image and compelled all men to adore it? But, impressed by the praises of the three children, when he saw the majesty of God present in the fire, what did he say? And I will publish a decree to all tribes and tongues in the whole earth. What sort of a decree? Whosoever shall speak blasphemy against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut off, and their and their houses shall be made a ruin. Daniel chapter 3. See how an alien king acts with raging indignation, that the God of Israel might not be blasphemed, because he was able to deliver the three children from the fire. And yet they would not have Christian kings to act with severity when Christ is contemptuously rejected, by whom not three children, but the whole. With these very kings is delivered from the fire of hell. For those three children, my brethren, were delivered from temple fire. Is he not the same God who was the God of the Maccabees and the God of the three children? The latter he delivered from the fire. The former did in body perish in the torments of fire, but in mind they remained steadfast in the ordinances of the law. The latter were openly delivered, the former were crowned in secret. 2 Maccabees chapter 7. It is a greater thing to be delivered from the flame of hell than from the furnace of a human power. If then Nebuchadnezzar praised and extolled and gave glory to God, because he delivered three children from the fire, and gave such glory as to send forth a decree throughout his kingdom, whosoever shall speak blasphemy against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut off, and their houses shall be brought to ruin. How should not these kings be moved, who observe not three children delivered from the flame, but their very selves delivered from hell, when they see Christ by whom they have been delivered, contemptuously spurned in Christians, when they hear it said to a Christian, say that you are not a Christian? Men are willing to do such deeds, but they do not wish to suffer at all events such punishments. For see what they do and what they suffer. They slay souls, they suffer in body, they cause everlasting death, and yet they complain that they themselves suffer temporal death. And yet what death do they suffer? They allege to us some martyrs of theirs in persecution. See Marcellus, who was hurled headlong from a rock. See Donatus of Bagaia, was thrown into a well. When have the Roman authorities decreed such punishments as casting men down rocks? But what do those of our party reply? What was done, I know not. What, however, do ours tell? That they flung themselves headlong and cast the infamy of it upon the authorities. Let us call to mind the custom of the Roman authorities and see to whom we are to give credit. Our men declare that those men cast themselves down headlong. If they are not the very disciples of those men, who now cast themselves down precipices, while no man persecutes them, let us not credit the allegation of our men. What wonder if those men did what these are wont to do? The Roman authorities never did employ such punishments, for had they not the power to put them to death openly? But those men, while they wished to be honored when dead, found not a death to make them more famous. In short, whatever the fact was, I do not know. And even if you have suffered corporal affliction, O party of Donatus, at the hand of the Catholic Church, as an Hagar, you have suffered it at the hand of Sarah. Return to your mistress. A point which it was indeed necessary to discuss has detained us somewhat too long to be at all able to expound the context of the gospel lesson. Let this suffice in the meantime. Beloved brethren, lest by speaking of other matters what has been spoken might be shut out from your hearts. Hold fast these things, declare such things, and while yourselves are inflamed, go your way thither, and set on fire them that are called.